Hey everyone, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some of the twists and turns from Mr. Robot's Season 2 finale. It was the second half of a two-parter. This was Python Part 2. If you haven't watched Python Part 2, you might want to step away and turn off this video. I'm going to go into some full spoilers here. You're not going to want to hear that. Once you've watched it, you can come back. I'm going to talk to you about mainly one scene, but Python Part 2 ended with a big cliffhanger. Season 1 ended with a cliffhanger, sort of, if you consider the hack, the major hack, of E-Corp a cliffhanger, but not like this, not with like someone got shot and is bleeding out and oh my god, what does Angela have to do with all this now? What was her conversation with White Rose? We actually never did find out what White Rose and her talked about, but she came out a very changed person after that off-screen chat, and now she seems to be in on it. She was expecting Terrell's call. She might have even been expecting Terrell to call her because he had shot or killed Elliot. So we don't know what her deal is right now, and it's very mysterious. But let's talk about Terrell. Gone the whole season, except for some dream sequences and that sort of 80s sitcom flashback, 90s sitcom flashback, little dream sequence too. Then popped up at the end of last episode. Now, there was, on a show like Mr. Robot that constantly plays with us, tricks its own hero, an unreliable narrator who has within him an unreliable part of his own mind, the currency of this show is sort of smoke and mirrors. So there was already a running theory about how Terrell maybe even wasn't real all along. Like even back at the top of the season when Terrell wasn't showing up and we didn't know what had happened to him, like, is Elliot Terrell? Like, is that even a thing? If you look back, it doesn't work. Terrell had his own side story with Joanna, and you piece it together, it doesn't work. But, people are going to expect anything on this show, so the end of the show really leaned into that in anticipating that perhaps people might not think that this Terrell, the one who showed up right at the end of the last episode, might not be real. That Terrell was killed by Elliot, by the Mr. Robot side of Elliot. So it played into that, and it got to a point where Elliot thought that Terrell wasn't real. When Terrell was pointing a gun at him, it was just another Mr. Robot trick. And so in that sense, the show was trying to trick us. Mr. Robot was trying to trick Elliot into thinking there was a trick. The trick here was that there was no trick. That was sort of the undoing of Elliot, is that there have been so many tricks. He thought there was one. This was the ultimate cry wolf, and there wasn't one, and he got shot. I thought that scene worked really well because of Rami Malek's acting. He just won an Emmy for it. Obviously, he's great. But the fact that Elliot sort of thought that he had uncovered Mr. Robot's grand scheme and his final trick to get him to stop from erasing the malware, and it didn't work, and it got himself shot. I thought there was a really fun, powerful undoing of Elliot, and I really liked it. But what did you guys think? I gave the episode a 9. You could read my written review on IGN.com, and stay tuned to IGN for all things Mr. Robot heading into Season 3.